3 equals 5?
Let's burn through that.
Hi, I'm Nick,
And I'm Dax.
and welcome to the Call Room, our rugby union chat show.
Yeah, so since when does 3 equal 5?
Well, we're going into a little history here. We go back to 18 something, when rugby was first formed, and a try equaled 3 points.
Yeah, in actual fact, the South African, the Afrikaans word for try is drie because of the 3 points.
Drukke 3.
Yeah, so there we go, a little bit of history, but for our little little knowledge-based segment over here, we're basically talking about how the points translate when someone scores a try, kicks a conversion, drop goals and penalties.
Epic music, how scoring works. Okay, so let's start off with the main concept, which is what is the objective of rugby, and that is to score a try.
Yeah.
A try is 5 points, a little confusing, but the point system was increased to encourage more of a free-flowing game. So 5 points in rugby. We won't even talk about Varsity Cup in South Africa because that's just a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a segment on the comparisons between the two.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. But to score a try, a player has to take the ball, go over what they call the try line, which is on the opposition end of the field, and in that space, dot the ball down, and that's with 5
points. Immediately following the try, you have the opportunity for a conversion, which is when a kick takes place directly in line from where the try was scored, and you've got to try and kick the ball through the 2 pillars. And you get 2 points if you do it. If you don't, you get 5, straight, 2, 7.
Yeah, and for penalty tries where there's an infringement in the lead up to a try, they automatically award you 7 points because you don't actually have to take the conversion kick at all.
Because it's basically guaranteed you'll get the conversion.
Yeah.
Then we move on to penalties. Now, depending on where you are on the field, you can
do a penalty goal.
You can do go for goal in your penalty, or you can go for the line out or the scrum or whatever. But let's say you go for the penalty goal. Now, much like soccer, where penalty shootouts take place, you aim at the goal, you kick, you score, you get points. Pretty much the same thing, except you don't have a keeper to beat.
Yeah.
You take your aim at the poles, you kick the ball, and if it goes through, you get points.
So the penalty kick has to take place where the referee has indicated the penalty occurred. So it could be anywhere on the field. You can do it at any time from in the 50-meter line in the opposition thing if you've got a really long-range kicker.
Unless you're France or Spain, you can do it from anywhere in your own half.
Yeah, you can do it from 60 meters out. So yeah, and that's worth 3 points.
Yeah, so unlike a conversion, it's 3 points instead of 2, but basically it's a very similar concept to the conversion. And then finally you get your drop goal. Now this is a slightly more technical way of scoring. Not many players can score this way. Essentially you have to perform a drop kick. Now a drop kick is when you drop the ball, it has to touch the ground and then only can you kick it. Now there's a very fine timing where you literally kick the ball as it touches the ground if you want maximum distance and accuracy. And basically if that happens, it's 3 points. If you get it through the poles again, it has to go through the poles.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go through the poles, no points. This is more done in open play. Generally your fly half stands within the pocket, so he stands quite far back so that the rushing defense doesn't reach him, and he does a drop kick. Now the drop kick is inherently not as accurate as a place kick, which is why they use it in sevens to make it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
It's another episode, by the way, sevens rugby versus 15s. So that's again 3 points.
It's an opportunistic 3 points as well because you typically don't really plan for it. I mean, a lot of teams that are losing within that 3 point bracket and 1 point can win them. They're 2 points back, aim for the drop goal. Sometimes leads to pretty exciting finishes as well.
Especially if you've got a penalty advantage.
Yeah.
And a very famous drop kick, 1995 World Cup, South Africa versus New Zealand in the final.
Yeah.
Drop goal won it.
Yeah, Joel Stransky. And then again in 2003, England versus Australia, Johnny Wilkinson won it. Johnny Wilkinson won it with the drop goal as well.
Yeah, Morné Steyn used to be the king of drop goals. Right now in the modern game, not really a thing you see too often. No. Unless you're Kerwin Bosch and you're trying to slot it from the 50-meter line, then you can see it. But
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's not a
Not
common
common.
occurrence. But because of all of these different values of points and all that, it's very rare in rugby that you get a draw.
Yeah.
Unlike soccer where everything is one goal.
0-0, 1-1.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
it's very common in soccer to have a draw. In rugby, not so common because of the different scoring permutations that you could have. I mean, it does happen, but not as often as in other sports. So yeah, basically that's how you score in rugby.
Yeah.
Pretty
Pretty easy,
straightforward.
right?
Well done for not wearing black.
Yeah. Well done for wearing black.
Yeah, you know what? I felt I was too much in the pastels. Decided I'd go a little bit dark like my soul.
Yeah. Changing things up this week. Speaking of changing things up this week, looks like it's going to be a 3-day rugby fest, considering that we have a Sunday game.
We have a Sunday game. I feel like watching NFL, you know, Sunday night football or something like that.
Well, this will probably be Sunday morning and probably before Sparrows part.
Yeah, no, it's Australia. It's probably going to be around 12 o'clock here, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's after church.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start off with the Friday game. New Zealand, Chiefs versus Bulls. Yeah.
Okay, Chiefs coming from a bye. Bulls started off their away tour with a loss. A lot riding on this one for the Bulls, but
it's a must win. If the Bulls win this, we can consider it a good tour.
Yeah.
If they lose it, which in all likelihood they will, it's going to really put them under pressure when they come back to South Africa and the rest of the season. Chiefs starting off the Super Rugby with a loss against the Crusaders, coming back the week after, getting a really good win over the Blues, I think it was. Yes.
Probably still going to experiment with Mackenzie at fly half, so I don't know how that's going to hurt their prospects, considering that he's not regarded as a fly half. Bulls, some strong showing, some really, really strong defence towards the end against the Reds.
They just need to keep the ball in hand.
Yes, keeping possession is going to be a key for the Bulls. Look, we're not going to say that they're going to cause too much of an upset against the Chiefs. Chiefs probably going to get this one considering they're playing at home. But probably going to be a close game. If Bulls can work on their possession, not giving it away with silly box kicks, turnovers, losing the ball in contact, maybe it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, possibly. But I doubt it.
I
look,
honestly the Bulls did put away New Zealand opposition starting off.
Yeah,
so.
I mean they have the ability, but unless they get their act together this week in training, I'm saying Chiefs by 10.
Yeah, we said the Chiefs by 10 on this one. It's pretty much the only way we can really see it.
Although they shouldn't take our predictions that well. We didn't get very many right last week.
Well, looking at some of the editors for SA Rugby magazine, neither did they.
Okay, we're not alone. Okay, so moving on to Saturday morning, we got the Highlanders versus the Crusaders. Hopefully another classic New Zealand derby that we're getting so used to seeing, really enjoying those right now. Crusaders coming off defeat, but they're a team that always bounces back really quickly, very fast. Highlanders, they're coming off a win against the Stormers, pretty convincing win, but I have to say, I'm going to give it to the Crusaders in this one.
Yeah. History dictates here that the Crusaders have generally bettered the Highlanders away and at home.
Yeah.
Crusaders having won the last couple of games against the Highlanders from last season, so I don't see that trend changing really. I mean, the Hurricanes really took the Crusaders by surprise this past weekend. I really, really don't think that the Highlanders are going to give the Crusaders too much trouble.
No.
Crusaders probably hurting a little bit with their starting number 10.
It is something I noticed last week. They were really missing Mounga with his fractured jaw.
Yeah.
I think it's Hunt as the replacement fly half. He does his job, but he's not the same flair.
Yeah, he doesn't control the game as well as Mounga does. So, well, look, there's a lot of really fantastic players in the Crusaders team that can fill that gap. Hopefully this last week was a bit of an anomaly. This week, we'll probably see the Crusaders take it by 5 points to 7.
Yep. Then we move on to Brumbies versus Sharks. Sharks travelling over to Canberra. I have to say, if they're sticking to their same boring game style that's really painful to watch, like it gets results, but wow,
It's
you're not going to pull in public viewership with it.
No.
I have to say, traveling, it is a long flight. I think it's like 20 hours to Canberra. So I'm going to have to say Sharks, fatigue, Brumbies, coming off a fairly embarrassing defeat to the Rebels. Going to want to get their foot forward in the first few seconds of the match. I'm going to have to say I'm going to give this to the Brumbies, but not by much.
No. I wouldn't say the Brumbies were embarrassed by a Rebels team. The Rebels team really played fantastic rugby to put the Brumbies on the back foot from the get-go.
But I mean, only getting 10 points on against the Rebels for the Brumbies, as we know from old, it's an embarrassing.
Well, let's just say it's a new Rebels team with a really good
you want to
rugby
be
stuff.
PC about it? Fine.
Yeah, we'll be PC about it. But yeah, Brumbies, if they start getting the team cohesion working really well, I don't see the Sharks getting too much of an upper hand on them. Sharks, if they can get some excitement into the game, some real good flair into it, let loose that back line. I mean, they've got some really good players like the Kanye Nisi, Kerwin Bosch, I mean, really exciting players. Look, the Sharks can cause an upset in Australia, but the way they're currently playing, I'm hoping that I'm asleep already for that match, because the last two matches have put me to sleep.
We'll move on to the Stormers versus the Blues. Now, back in South Africa, Stormers have just travelled from New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally they would prefer to bye this weekend to just recover a bit. I mean, they really got battered over in Australasia.
Yeah.
Lots of injuries. A really depleted squad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some injury cover signings coming up, or if players are poached from Varsity Cup teams.
Yeah. Stormers reserves are very depleted at the present moment. I mean, they did announce an extended squad of 47 players. I think we're already using a lot of those players. The Stormers, I mean, it wasn't a great tour by any means. I mean, we got pipped at the end against the Waratahs. Crusaders and Highlanders scoring convincing wins at the end.
Yep.
Yes, the Stormers were competitive in parts of those games, so there are those positives out of it. But the travel, the Blues already having been here, off a win against the Lions, a fantastic comeback.
Yeah.
Come from behind win
An
against the
80-minute
Lions.
game against the Lions. I'm struggling to see the Stormers playing 80 minutes.
No, I don't see the Stormers playing 80 minutes in this one either. As much as I'd love to say that the Stormers will prevail in their fortress at Newlands, I honestly don't think I just think that they're going to be fatigued. I don't think they're going to be putting up the fight that we would expect them to usually put up. I mean, I would love to say they're going to surprise us, but it's highly unlikely. And the Blues will definitely be winners by 7 to 10 points on us on our rating.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Obviously, it's our rating. I think that the Blues are going to come out firing, and the only way the Stormers could probably win this is if they get 3 tries in the first 15 minutes.
Not even that. I think the Stormers would need to actually take it to the Blues up front. I mean, the Blues do struggle when the defensive line comes up and is up front. So the Stormers with their drifting defence might not give them any troubles at all.
And we got the Lions versus Sunwolves at Emirates Airline Park. I think this is a game the Lions really want after a loss to the Blues. They really want something that they can come back, win comfortably, get that confidence up again. I mean, do I think the Sunwolves are going to make it easy for them? No, because I think that they're, that taste of a wounded lion, it's there.
Yeah.
But I think that the Lions should win this game. They've got the talent, they've got the pace. They got the defence, and I'm really hoping that it's not a surprise like Sunwolves vs Blues last year. So I have to say that the Lions should win this easily.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully Whiteley's back and it wasn't a serious injury. They did say post-match that he was feeling no pain, just some slight instability, so they took him off as a precaution. So hopefully he's recovered and he's back up.
I mean, it might not do the Lions any harm if they do actually arrest Whiteley this week. I mean, he is the Lions team. he's the general that actually gets the Lions moving forward.
I do think that if he is rested, they need to think of a better captain than Elton.
Yeah.
He didn't lead the team well when the back was against the wall.
Yeah, the Lions do function off a captain who actually wears his heart on his sleeve, leads from the front. Maybe someone like Mostert or...
Mostert, I would say maybe even a leadership group that includes like Marks or something like that. I definitely think that would work.
Definitely work. But yeah, Lions don't think that they'll have too much problems with the Sunwolves. They will need a game that provides them a little bit more confidence or regain that confidence after that like sudden death try that the Blues scored to actually win the game against the run of play. Lions going on tour, I think, after the match against the Sunwolves, I would think. Or
I'm not actually sure. I think they got a couple of home games and then they got.
But they'll definitely need something to bolster their confidence.
We go into the Jaguares versus the Reds in Argentina.
Yep.
Reds traveling all the way from Australia to Argentina. That's a big trip. And a lot of fatigue there. I mean, they could have a blue situation where their flight is delayed for like 20 hours.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's possible. And then we just got to look at how the Jaguares played this
past weekend.
And it was fantastic rugby. The Reds weren't bad as well this weekend. Really good at holding the possession against the Bulls.
Yeah.
But I think fatigue, travel, bit of a physical game against the Bulls. Lots of bashing up against that defense. Got to say, I think the Jaguars might have this one.
I would like to say the Jaguars have this one, and after their performance against the Waratahs this past week, I'm kind of thinking that the Jaguars are going to be the underdogs who are the sleeper killers of the Australian franchise.
I would say that.
The Jaguars, when they've learned to work on their discipline or keep their discipline under control, have shown that they are really, really good attacking sides. Their scrums dominated against the Waratahs. Their backline players in open play and in general play were leagues better than how they started their first 3 games in the past 3 weeks. So for me, the Jaguars, if they do the exact same thing and play 80 minutes rugby with cool, calm heads, I think that they can actually put this one against the Reds as well.
Yeah. And then we move on to our Sunday match, which is the Waratahs versus the Rebels. Most likely happening mid-morning here in South Africa.
Probably.
And a nice evening game in Australia, and I think it's going to be a late evening game for New Zealand. I think the Australian games are normally around 9 p.m. there. It's an Australian derby. We haven't seen too many of those yet this season. But the Waratahs coming back from Argentina, one having the draw against the Sharks, then a loss against the Jaguares, flying back to Australia to play the Rebels, who are undefeated yet this season, having played the Sunwolves, then the Reds and the Brumbies. I really think that the Rebels are going to have this one just based on their performances so far.
So for me in the Australian conference, the Rebels are the team to beat at the present moment. They've been playing really, really good rugby. Nothing flashy, but they have what they've done and how they've executed their game plans has been really good. Will Kenya getting them front foot ball at the base of the rucks and scrums, being a fantastic general for that team. I don't think that the Waratahs are going to win this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard ask. I definitely think the Rebels are conference contenders for Australia, which is completely opposite to what we said earlier on. I think we picked Brumbies, Waratahs as top 2, and it looks like it's not even featuring that way.
It's total 180 of what we actually said. So
I would like the Rebels to win. I'm an underdog fan here, and I think the Rebels are really showing that underdogs can win.
I don't think they even deserve the underdog title anymore, the way they're basically dominating the Australian conference.
True, I got to agree with you on that one, but again, they're the Rebels. They're always going to have that underdog tag to them.
But I think we both agree that 10 points is going to be the points margin that the Rebels should win this one by.
Yeah. So those are predictions for this coming week of Super Rugby round 5. I think we're on, round 5, round 5 for South Africa, round 4 for everyone else. And I definitely think it's it's shaping up to be a good competition. Definitely a few upset victories that are happening early on, which is great to see. Hopefully we won't have the situation where last season where we had literally had the New Zealand teams in the top 5 and then everyone else below them.
Yeah.
I would like to see a more fair competition this season, and it seems to be that's what we're getting.
Yeah, and let's see if some South African teams can actually turn around their seasons this year. I know a lot of teams are needing that bit of confidence boost, especially with depleted numbers. But yeah, I mean, look, we're still early on in the season, so there's still after week 5, there's still another 13 weeks to go. There's plenty of it still to go.
Yep. So let's see how we do this weekend. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for our video next week where we actually talk about what happened during these games.
Yeah. Send us your comments and feedbacks, and don't forget to hit the little bell icon so that you can be notified when we post a new video.
Great. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend.